Today, welcome. You are attending Full Steam Ahead Ignite Learning with Discus resources for science, technology, art, and more. I'm really excited about today's webinar because so often our webinars and our sessions are focused on research and literacy. So today we're going to be coming at Discus from a different angle. We are going to be focusing on those science, technology, art, math standards and resources that we have within Discus. So just know for today, I'm going to try to keep our session 30 to 45 minutes. And so if after today you have more questions or you want to see more resources, feel free to reach out and we can get that training scheduled. But we also can explore together if you want to do a one-on-one or on your own, you can explore what resources Discus has. So we are going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to turn off my video and have it be full screen sharing my screen for you. And we're going to get into today's session. So welcome. My name is Tara Jeppertinger, and I am the Discus Training Coordinator for the South Carolina State Library. I was an elementary educator in Columbia for 6 years. And then I transitioned to working at the South Carolina State Library, where I've been the Discus trainer for now over almost 2.5 years. I started doing in-person trainings, and now I'm on the virtual side. So I do our webinars, our virtual trainings for schools, libraries, homeschool groups, all that good stuff. And I also have in-person counterparts, Kristen and Sarah, who do in-person trainings. So I know right now is summer. So everybody is kind of, hopefully you are having some time to relax and unwind. But as that school year is coming up and you're having your thoughts about some trainings that you'd like for in-service days or staff meetings, all three of us are here for y'all. So if you would like an in-person or virtual training for any of those days, we would be happy to help you with that. And we all are former educators. So we are passionate about what we do, and we just love to interact and share Discus with you all. So without further ado, here we go. So today we're going to really quickly start with a Discus overview. What is Discus? Really quick. And then access, how can you access Discus? Where can you find it? What about that username and password that you sometimes need? And then we're going to get into those resources. So any updates and resources, we will be digging right in today. So if you would like to follow along during today's session on a mobile device or your own device, you can, or you can kind of sit back and absorb the information as you receive it and then explore into the resources later. So either way is totally fine. I will be sending out a recording of today's session. So if you miss something, you can go back and reference that. And I also will be uploading it on to the Discus YouTube channel and the Discus site. So there'll be lots of places to access this training after today. And then at the end of the session, we'll be going over any questions that you all have and then any contact information that you need from me or the Discus team. So what is Discus? Discus is South Carolina's digital library. It's a core set of resources provided for all of South Carolina by the South Carolina State Library. So in short, if you've been in Discus before and you're familiar with it, it's a virtual library primarily geared towards K-12 educators, learners, public librarians, filled with lots of amazing resources. And what we're going to be doing today is looking at some of those resources and really digging into a specific topic. So that is really great about today's training. We get to really focus in on those resources and hopefully give you some new ideas about how you can use Discus either at your school, your library, or at your home with your students. So this is our access information. So scdiscus.org right here at the top, that URL will give you access to our resources. Over here, you'll find our username and password. Should you be prompted for the Discus username and password, this is the information that you would need to enter. If you're working at a public library, a public school, or even at home, you may not be prompted for the username and password very much. But depending on where you're located in our state, If you're using a mobile device or what Wi-Fi network you're on, you may be prompted to enter the username and password for some of our resources. It stays the same for the entire school year, so August to August, which means that we're coming up on a new username and password, which will be shared out to all of our Discus contacts at the school district level and then also to our public libraries. So there'll be lots of places to access that information, but if you ever need it, feel free to email our Discus help desk. I'll have that email at the end of today's session, and the wonderful Miss Ashton Pringle would be happy to help you with that username and password information. So if you have any trouble getting into these resources with the change coming up this August, feel free to reach out. But hopefully you will have that new username and password and be ready to go. This QR code will give you quick access to those resources. And yes, without further ado, I'm going to pop out of the session and I am going to get into the Discus homepage. All right. All right. Is the Discus homepage. This is that Discus information and then that quick access to tutor.com. Up here at the top, this is how you access all of our resources. So we have the A to Z resource menu. So I click on that and click on whatever letter it is that I'm trying to get to. So my example was teaching books. So I click on T and it will take me to all those resources starting with T. So quick access if you know where you want to go. Discus Kids will filter all of our resources K through 6. So if you only work with resources for those grade levels, then this would be the place where you can just stay. These would be all the resources just for you and your students or your children at home. By grade level, this will filter our resources for those students by grade level. So we have early childhood and elementary, middle school, and high school, and then by subject. So for today, if you were looking to just look at our science and technology resources, you could come down to science and technology, click science and technology, and you're only looking at the resources that apply to you. So there's lots of different ways to get to our different resources, and I'm going to show you a few different ways today. So the first resource we're going to be getting into is teaching books. So I'm going to go back to A to Z resources, go to the T's, scroll down, click on teaching books for educators. Here, teaching books for elementary, high school, and middle school students. These will take you directly to those home pages that are filtered out for those age levels. I'm going to go into teaching books for educators so that we can kind of see what this screen looks like right here. So it will take you directly to the For Educators page right here. Lots of really amazing content in here. We won't have time to get into this today, but I did want to show you with that school year coming up and different ideas. This For Educator section is just filled with amazing content, whether you work in the library or in the classroom. The teaching ideas and library programming sections are just amazing. So for today, we're going to be focusing on STEAM. So science, technology, engineering, arts, math principles. What Teaching Books has done is they have actually curated STEAM books into a collection. So I just type in STEAM right here into the search bar at the top. You'll see you have books, authors, awards over here if that is how you're looking to filter. Over here on the right in the featured, you'll see this STEAM collection. If I click on that, they have curated over 5,000 books in that curriculum area of STEAM for you to view. So over here, I can filter by grade level, genre, resource type, etc., to get to the type of text that I might want to use with my students. I am going to filter by complete book readings. Because if, say, I'm looking in my classroom, I know I don't have a copy of these texts, so I want to use a book where I can show the students using a complete book reading. Now I filtered it out and I know I have a complete book reading of all of these texts. So the book we're going to be getting into a little bit today is Rosie Revere, Engineer. So I'm going to click on this title right here. And when I click it, I have access to all of those resources and it will take me right down to that complete video reading. So when I click on it, it is actually a reading in space which I thought was really cool. So I'll just press play so you can get a little sneak peek of what some of the video book readings look like. So really, really cool, really quick, easy access to a complete video reading of this book. And like all teaching books resources, you have the options over here to share it with your students. So if you click share this page, you can easily share the URL directly to this video, or you can even create a bookmark, flyer, label sheet, or shelf talker to that video. So if you wanted to display this book with this shelf talker, students could walk around your library, scan the code, and have access to that video, just bringing your libraries to life and making them a little more interactive. So lots of possibilities with all these resources within teaching books. So I'm going to come back out and show you just a few more features of teaching books, just to show you kind of everything that you can do. So I've found a book that integrates STEAM into my literacy lessons, Rosie Revere Engineer. I have the complete book reading provided for me. And say I also want some book guides, activities, and lessons, I can go to this section right here and go through the activities and the lessons to find some resources that my students might like. So depending on the age level of your students and the subject that you're teaching, these all would work for lots of different ideas. This lesson plan from Library Sparks is really, really cute. So I'll click on that to show you. All I did is click on it and it's ready for me. So here I have the printable lesson plan right up here, lesson one. I can see the grade level and the time right here, as well as the handouts that come with the lessons. Here's a second lesson provided to me, as well as the worksheets and so on and so forth. So they have different lessons for different grade levels, working on different concepts. So here I have a text features lesson with my STEAM book. So lots of different ways to use these texts in your classroom or library. And this particular book has a lot of really good stuff. So if you teach science and you wanted to use this book in your science classroom, here's an airplane activity that could be a science experiment that you could easily print off and go and use with your students. If you're focusing on engineering, here are two different really good activities, as well as a writing and coloring activity. All of these are really great and curated by teaching books, so you don't have to go out and find them. So that is our teaching books STEAM example. I was just blown away when I went into the STEAM collection with the quality of text that they have. So utilizing those filters in the beginning is really key to getting the most out of this collection. So we are going to head back to Discus and move on and go into our next resource. But I could stay on teaching books all day. I love it so much. So that was teaching books. So now I'm going to get into our next resource a different way. So I got into teaching books using our A to Z resources. The next resource I am going to get to in the by subject section over here, and I'm going to go to science and technology right here, and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go to Learn 360. So Learn 360 is a resource that is primarily video and interactive based. It has great quality videos that have no ads. It's not a YouTube video and are curated into different topic centers depending on what subject it is that you're teaching. So here is the homepage of Learn 360. I am going to click on this right here, topic centers, because topic centers make finding what you need really, really simple and easy. I could always come up here to the search bar and type in, say I'm teaching magnets with my students and search magnets up here and filter by grade level and whatnot. But these topic centers really do the work for you. So you'll see the first topic center selected, I didn't even plan this, they have it so perfect, is their STEAM topic center. So when I come to the topic centers, all of these different topic centers focus on that STEAM learning. So as I scroll down, I'll see if I teach math, I have math videos and interactives, so on and so forth. And I'm actually going to use that example, the forces, motion, and magnets, just to show you inside one of these topic centers. So when I get inside the topic center, I'll see the resources they have linked for me. So 33 different resources. At the top, these are all videos. Then I have interactives, and then I have printables. So I'm going to show you an example of each. So this video, how are magnets made? Say this is what you're teaching, the standards that you're working on. You just click it. You have full access to the video. So ready to go for your students, as well as information down here about the grade level. So this would be a better fit for middle and high school students, possibly fifth grade if you're teaching upper elementary. Over here, I have all my different tools that I can share with my students. So I can save it to my Learn 360 account if I have one. I can easily share it via a link or email. If a student is using this in a project and they needed, say, a video example in their research project, they can easily generate that citation right here. Or if you would need them or you yourself want to share it to your Google Classroom and have them view it on their own time, you can do that right here by clicking on Google Classroom. So really, really cool. Awesome. You'll notice you have the transcript over here on the side if you need it, and you can download it right here. So that is an example of one of the videos that you'd find in Learn 360. The interactives down here, to me, these are the hidden gems on Learn 360. There are interactives on so many different topics and standards, and what the interactives are they are workable, movable lessons and worksheets within Learn 360. So I just clicked on this electrical circuits example. Let's see, hopefully it will load. Here it's thinking. Here we go. So it loads this interactive for me where it has the beginning parts of the lesson with the lesson content. So if I just wanted to go straight to that static electricity lesson, I could, but I can also click through like this, and students can read and watch videos as well as look at different examples as they are going through the interactives. And then it will also check for understanding with movable pieces that they can then move throughout the lesson. And they can check their work right here. So say they have to do it until they get to 100%. If I check my work, oof, not doing good. Only got 1 out of the 3 that I've done so far. So just a really great thing featured within Learn 360 resources. These interactives you'll see right here, and you can scroll over here. The interactives, they also have different reading passages. So if you're interested in interactive reading passages that are ready to go and ready-made, these are great sub-plans if you're last minute out of your classroom and you need something to send to your students in their Google Classroom, you can share these interactives and they would have an activity and a reading passage ready to go. Down here at the bottom, we have these printables. So say you prefer the old school way, you want to have students working with pen and paper, totally fine. They have these options for you down here. So when I click on Hard at Work, this worksheet will load for me. I can download it and the PDF will load and it's ready to print. There we go. You can see your different pieces there. So this is also an interactive activity, but students are just cutting and gluing. So really great stuff in Learn 360. Aside from high quality videos that you can trust, those interactives and those printables are just amazing. And I did want to highlight that that was a science example, but they also have an amazing art topic center. Their math is fabulous. The fractions, financial literacy, multiplication, engineering right here. These would all be fabulous concepts to share with your students if you're focusing in on STEAM. So we don't have time to go into all of them today, but just really great stuff within these topic centers. So that is Learn 360 for STEAM. Really great. They have it, you know, simple, ready to use right when you get into those topic centers. So I'm going to head back to Discus and show you our next resource. I'm going to get there a different way. So I'm going to get to our next resource, World Almanac for Kids, by going to by grade level, and I'm going to go to middle school. So World Almanac for Kids is one of our resources that has two different points of access. So they have World Almanac for Kids, and then they have World Almanac for Kids Elementary. So two different resources that work the same way that just feature different content for different age levels. So World Almanac for Kids is for those older students, so students primarily working in grades, I'd say 4 to 8. World Almanac for Kids Elementary is K through 5. And really, as we know with our students or our library patrons or our own children, they all kind of fall somewhere in between. So feel free to interchange them if you find a resource that you like in one and not the other. So World Almanac for Kids is a great interactive resource that is fun and engaging for students to use. The first section I wanted to show you was the topic section. So within the topic section, they have all the different topics listed out really nice for you. So you can kind of see if you were working on art or maybe focusing in on different artists and you wanted students to find a artist and work on a biography project as a part of your STEAM planning, or if you're working with math and science, this is all there for you. I'm going to click on forces in motion again so that we're kind of sticking with that theme. And as I go through, I'll see over here on the left, these are all the different articles that are featured within the forces and motion section. So say you're learning about Newton's first law, I can click on that. And here is my article. So really kid-friendly article. Students could read this on their own, or you could actually pull it up onto your smartboard in front of the whole class and use this to teach. For your lesson, you'll notice this read aloud feature would allow students to have the text read aloud to them. Really great for any students who might need that accommodation. You could also print this. So say you wanted to do a rotation activity where you print out the Newton's first law, second law, and third law articles and have students rotate around the room and read each article and do an activity with each article. You can use these articles straight from World Almanac for Kids without having to go out and Google and find, you know, information from different places. A great lesson to share with students about Discus resources and why they're so great. These are trusted resources that we know are true. You know, this is a trusted name. World Almanac for Kids is a name that we've all heard before, and we know that we can trust where this information is coming from. You also have that information to save if you have a World Almanac for Kids or InfoBase account, and you can view them in My Saved Items. And then standards connection if you were working with long range lesson planning and wanted to see the correlation between this article and different standards. So I'm going to head back to this page because that article that we just saw, that is how all these different articles are viewed within World Almanac for Kids and World Almanac for Kids Elementary. So they all look the same. They all have the same features. So if students are using World Almanac for Kids again and again, they would become familiar with the layout of the site and feel really comfortable using these articles. I did want to point this out down here, this URL that they provide. If you wanted to take this URL and put it in your Google Classroom, it would take students directly to this page. So say you wanted them to explore a topic, that would be a great option for them as well, to just take them right to this page and they can explore different areas of forces and motion. Over here on the right, I wanted to point out that they link fun facts, videos, and different key people for this topic. So for the fun facts, how does a bike stay balanced? If I click on it, it will be a little article all about that. So if you're looking to integrate some really fun, interesting kind of questions and topics for students, the fun fact section is a really good way to do that. It could also be a form of morning work. You could have students or early finisher activity where students explore those fun facts and share their thoughts or feelings about them. Here are some videos. So say you wanted students to read the article and then view a video like that Newton's first law example, you can come here, and this video is all about Newton's first law. And here you can easily share it with your students by recording the URL and sharing it with them that way. Or you can share to your Google Classroom right here in the Share To section, or even send by email right here if that is how you prefer to do it. And then you just press play. And we have this caption right here that will give you and your students a little information about that video. And then we have these key people linked here if students wanted to research more about a key person within the forces and motion topic. So that is World Almanac for Kids and World Almanac for Kids elementary topic sections. Um, really all sorts of different ways you could use this if you teach math, if you teach literacy, if you are in the library. All these different topics could be integrated for with, say, a text you chose from teaching books. You could find the person that they read about here on World Almanac for Kids and really curate your unit or your lesson that way. I did want to also show you within World Almanac for Kids, you can get to those videos and fun fact sections right here, as well as all these other amazing sections. So the games is also fun if you have any extra time with your students and you're looking for some fun activities. But I wanted to show you this science project section. So for anyone who is looking for ready-made science projects or is looking to share with staff at your schools ideas of where they can find amazing, fun, free science lessons and projects, World Almanac for Kids just makes it so easy. So I'm in the science project section. Over here, I have all my different topics. Say I'm doing physical science and I am looking for, we're still doing magnets. So say I'll do a magnet detector. I have the PDF right here. I have the information about the project right here. And when I click on download the PDF, it will automatically download and give me the entire lesson plan. So what I need, the introduction, and it is ready to go. So they feature many, many different types of experiments for many different age levels. So really there are experiments and activities here K through 8. So depending on what students you work with, there is something for everybody. So I will come back up here and go home so we can go back to the home page. So this is World Almanac for Kids. Before we move on to a different resource, I do quickly want to show you that World Almanac for Kids Elementary just to show you that they operate the same way, just for younger students. So I'm going to access that elementary version in the early childhood and elementary section. I also could filter more right here by science and technology or vendor. So say I know my vendor, I could filter it this way if you so wanted. So there's lots of different options right there. So here are all my access points for World Almanac for Kids Elementary. So I could go straight to the math section or that financial literacy section or right to the home page right here. And this is the elementary version of World Almanac for Kids. So similar layout, you'll see the top all functions the same way. We have those same science projects right here. And our topics just look a little more engaging and a little more fun to match the age levels of those students. So we could go back into forces in motion and you'll see that although laid out the same, it's much friendlier for those younger students. So when they go into the three laws of motion topic, we'll see this is the article that they would see but they still have that read aloud option and then different ways to navigate the articles over here on the side. So really great that if students are using these resources from grade level to grade level, they feel confident and know how to use them, and they don't need to reinvent the wheel every year when they're getting into a new resource. So that is World Almanac for Kids and World Almanac for Kids Elementary. Now, the next resource we're going to go into is many, many people's favorites, and that is PebbleGo. Now, PebbleGo is a fabulous resource, and the reason why we get so much feedback about people loving PebbleGo is because I think it is so easy to navigate for themselves, but also for their students. So all I did was click on PebbleGo, and I can easily see my modules right here. PebbleGo does feature hover sounds, so I think are mine turned off? All right, here we go. I'm going to turn mine off because when you hover your cursor over different words, it will sometimes scream at you and it can scare you. So just know you have those options right here at the top. And that was right in the settings wheel, and I just clicked sounds off. I also have the link up here in the corner, this copy link. So just know for every single page on PebbleGo, if you wanted to share that page with your students, you have that option at the top to click copy link and share it with your students. So if you're working with really little students and you wanted to bypass that step of having them get on Discus, find PebbleGo, and get right to the PebbleGo homepage, sharing the direct link to this page with them in their Google Classroom or however it is that you all share information with your students, that could be a really helpful way for them to get to the resource that they're looking for. So for today, we're going to focus in on the science section and just show you that they have lots of different modules. So math, life sciences, earth and space sciences, methods of making art, lots of those STEAM principles here within these modules. I'm going to go into technology and show you some of the different topics that they have here. So a topic that I would get asked about a lot when I was in the classroom was always robotics, and I feel like it's just coming up more and more. So if that's something that you have a student that's interested in or you're teaching, you can come into that topic, robotics. And here is an interactive article for students to use. So if I click on the play button, the article will be read aloud to the students. They can also flip through the article this way and go to the different headings right here. So the history of robotics, parts, types, robotics changes, as well as read more. So other articles that might be of interest to them. Down here on the bottom, we have some really good stuff. So easy citation tools, if they are working on a project, as well as the ability to print this article. So if you wanted to use this article but have students maybe annotate or highlight information, you could click on article, print it as a PDF and use it that way. There also is an activity. So at the bottom of every PebbleGo topic, there is an activity option. So depending on that topic, there could be one or two activities or lesson plans for you to use with your students. So for robotics, here is actually linked an activity that you can use with your students that is more like a science project. So they list what you need, what you do, what you think. And then they also have a share what you know. So say you wanted to do a read and respond for the article, students can share what they know about the article, as well as a check for understanding. So students are thinking about what they read and then writing about what they read just a little bit deeper. So really working on those critical thinking skills. So when I come here, all I would need to do is download the activity right here, this yellow button, and I would have that page downloaded and ready to print and share with my students. I also have a video linked. So if you're looking for a short video to share, PebbleGo will link animal sounds, videos, world maps, Lots of cool, different interactives here at the bottom in that video section. So if you're on the animals, they will share different animal noises. If you're in the science section, it will usually be a short video. So depending on the topic, that will always be changing. So that is how PebbleGo functions. Really simple, easy for you to use, but also for students to use. And I also did want to share down here on the bottom, really, really tiny, you can see they have educator resources. So these educator resources are fabulous. And when I click on educator resources, it will take me to that PebbleGo support page. And if I scroll down, they have this lesson planning support. These are lesson plans linked for all PebbleGo topics and modules. Regardless of whether or not Discus carries that module, you have for free all the activities and lesson plans with that module. So say you love how PebbleGo lays out their lesson plans, you have access to all these different topics and lesson plans with PebbleGo. I am going to use the science module since Discus provides that module for you all, and that's what we're focusing on today. So I'm in the science module, and say you're looking for a science experiment to use with your students. So invent a new machine. Come here, click invent a new machine, and here you will have that lesson plan laid out for you right here. So your procedure, the materials that you need, your goals. When I come down here, you'll see they have the different sections laid out for you. So the teaching section, guided practice, independent practice, and then your closure, as well as some ideas of how you could extend or enrich the activity. And here is the actual printables that you will need to complete the activity. And you know that you have your Discus Science module for them to use alongside this. So they have everything they need ready to go for this activity. So lots of different ways to use that PebbleGo content that is fun and engaging and can kind of help fill in your standards and your lessons, activities that you are looking to line up for next year. So that is PebbleGo. Now, I said I was going to keep it to around 45 minutes, so we have about five minutes left. So I am going to now show you tutor.com. Tutor.com is a fabulous, fabulous resource, and you'll notice that I just got to it really quickly. I'm in that early childhood and elementary section still, and Tutor.com is featured. Tutor.com is really featured in all of these sections. Discus Kids, A to Z resources, our homepage, as well in most of our subject categories. And that's because the tutors on tutor.com can really help students across the board with help in every subject. So tutor.com allows students to receive free tutoring 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is the homepage, and I'll know that I'm logged in through Discus when I see this Discus emblem here at the top. If you ever come across a parent or a patron who's having trouble getting onto tutor.com, sometimes it will be because they are going directly to that tutor.com URL and they're not first going to Discus. So that is a crucial step when accessing tutor.com. They have to come to Discus first and click on the tutor.com link through Discus, and that way they are logged in through Discus and now they have access to that tutoring. So here, if you're looking to just connect with the tutor now, you click connect with the tutor now, select your topic, science, subtopic, we'll do physical science, my grade level is third grade. I can type my question here, attach a file, submit, and I would be connected with a tutor right now. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to waste one of the tutor's precious time here, but I will show you. Well, let's see if it will let me sign in. I had signed in before, but sometimes it times out. There is a practice classroom where I can show you an example of, might not work, an example of what that tutoring will look like. So for me, my username is just my email. So let's try the full email and see. Yay! So over here in the practice classroom, we can see what that tutoring session would look like for a student. So come in here to the practice classroom, that will hopefully load. We're going to click cancel, and this is what it actually looks like. So they have the option right here to chat with the tutor and go back and forth. If they have a tutor account, they also have the option to turn audio on. That is always optional, so students do not need to put the audio on, but they have this whiteboard over here where they can interact as well as insert, share, and attach different files that they're working on. So if they're working on a project or a specific question that they need help with, they have all these options available to them. I'm going to leave that classroom and come right here. There also is the option to schedule a session. So if you have any parents or students that are looking to know that they're going to have a tutoring session, say every Wednesday at 5 p.m., they can do that and schedule a session right here. They could also schedule it with the same tutor so that they're familiar with who they're working with, or they find a tutor that they really, really like. They can set that up right there. They also have the option to drop off writing and math right here. So in the writing review, students can drop off a paper, and you'll notice you can click all these different options here. So your grade level, so either K through 6 or 7 through 12. There also is the option to drop off a resume and cover letter. So if someone, a patron at your library, wanted someone to view their resume and cover letter, they have that option through tutor.com. Come here, click their grade level, put their topic in, attach the file, submit it, and a tutor will review it and get back to them within 12 hours. They won't change their writing, they won't rewrite it, but they will make thoughtful suggestions for them. And that's just a really great way for students as kind of a last step before submitting it if they wanted another set of eyes on their paper. And then they also have these amazing resources right here for test prep and self-study if you have any students preparing for these tests right here, or they're looking to enter the workforce or to get into college and they need some more resources. This would be the spot for them. So tutor.com is a fabulous resource, and I could talk about it all day because I just love it. But that is our STEAM training for today. So let me head back to the PowerPoint, make sure we don't forget anything. So follow us on social media if you're looking for some more updates about webinars similar to today. You can also subscribe to our newsletter. So I create a newsletter every month and send it out, and it features different articles, lesson plans, ideas based on different themes happening that month. You can subscribe on the Discus site on the contact page. So if you are looking to subscribe, that's where you can do that, as well as you can request a training. I'm also going to share my email on the next slide. So if you ever need a training, you can do that on Discus in the training section, but you could also email myself or any of our trainers, and we'd be happy to share that training survey link with you, and we can get you all set up for your Discus training. And then that help desk that I was talking about in the beginning of the training is right here, Discus office at statelibrary.sc.gov. That'll get you to the fabulous Miss Ashton Pringle, and she will be able to help you with really whatever it is that you need. So if you are having technological issues on the Discus side. So if you're having trouble logging in or getting access to any of our resources, she would be happy to help you. And now, without further ado, are there any questions? If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat, or even you can put your audio on and ask me that way. And while we're going and taking those questions, I'll display my contact information so that anybody can take that down that may need it. So I am going to get into the chat now and see if anybody has any questions. And if you're feeling shy right now or you think of something later, you can always email me at the email on the screen, tjeppertinger@statelibrary.sc.gov, and I'd be happy to answer your question then. So are there any questions? Does anybody need anything before I leave you on this beautiful, hot June afternoon? Hopefully you took this time to cool off inside. Oh, thank you. And if you need any help getting into these resources after today, just let me know. but I will send out this recording and post this content on our YouTube and Discus pages.